Have you ever wondered where the coldest place on Earth is? Let's embark on an adventure into the icy expanse of Antarctica, a frozen wilderness that proudly wears the chilling crown as the coldest place on our planet. A land of extremes, Antarctica is a continent that dances on the razor's edge of human comprehension, both in terms of its sheer untouched beauty and its biting, relentless cold. This is a place where temperatures can plummet to a mind-numbing -128.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Imagine stepping out into that icy blast. It's a cold so extreme that it doesn't just nip at your nose, it takes your breath away, freezes your eyelashes, and challenges every notion you ever had about the limits of Mother Nature. But do you know that you can't build an igloo in Antarctica? Intriguing, isn't it? This is just the tip of the iceberg, so come along as we delve deeper into the secrets of Antarctica. You might associate igloos with cold weather, but why can't we build one in the coldest place on Earth? Let's delve into the science behind the igloo. A marvel of engineering that has kept the Inuit people safe and warm for centuries, even in the harshest Arctic winters. Firstly, what exactly is an igloo? The term igloo originates from the Inuit word igloo, which simply means house. But these are not your average houses. They are dome-shaped structures traditionally made from blocks of snow, carefully cut and stacked in a spiral pattern. But it's not just the shape that makes an igloo special. The key is in the material used, snow. Yes, you heard it right. The very same substance that symbolizes cold is used to keep the cold out. But how does that work? Snow is essentially frozen water, but it's not as solid as ice. It's filled with tiny air pockets, making it an excellent insulator. Think of it like a foam coffee cup that keeps your drink warm by trapping the heat inside. Similarly, the snow walls of an igloo trap the body heat from its occupants, preventing it from escaping into the chill outside. But it's not just about insulation. The interior of an igloo is designed in such a way that the cold air is drawn down and away from the occupants, while the warm air rises and remains trapped in the dome. Then there's the entrance tunnel, usually constructed lower than the main dome. This ingenious design creates a cold trap, preventing the warm air from rushing out whenever the entrance is opened. And finally, there's the small hole at the top of the igloo. This isn't a design flaw, but a deliberate vent to let out excess heat and moisture, preventing the interior from becoming too warm and causing the igloo to melt from the inside. So, while it may seem counterintuitive, the igloo is a perfect example of using what's available, even if it's snow, to survive in the coldest of environments. The key here is snow, but Antarctica's snow is not the right kind for building igloos. So, what's wrong with the snow in Antarctica? Well, it's not so much that there's something wrong with Antarctica's snow, but rather, it's just different. For one, Antarctica's snow is unlike the snow you'd find in your backyard during a winter flurry, or even the snow that blankets the Arctic. It's unique, and its uniqueness is precisely what makes it unsuitable for igloo construction. You see, the snow in Antarctica is incredibly dry. Yes, you heard right, dry. Despite being surrounded by ice and water, the snow that falls in Antarctica is devoid of moisture. The reason for this lies in Antarctica's extreme cold. The continent is so cold that any moisture in the air freezes before it can reach the ground, resulting in snow that is powdery and dry. This dryness, while great for skiing, is not so great for igloo building. The snow used to construct igloos needs to have a certain level of moisture. This moisture acts as a sort of glue, binding the snow blocks together and giving the igloo its strength and stability. Without this moisture, the blocks of snow simply won't stick together. But that's not the only issue. Antarctica's snow is also less compact than the snow found in other regions. Its structure is less dense, more akin to sugar than to the firm, packable snow you might use to build a snowman. This lack of density means that the snow lacks the structural integrity necessary to support the weight of an igloo. So, while you might dream of building the perfect igloo in the pristine, untouched snow of Antarctica, the reality is quite different. The snow here is simply not up to the task. It's too dry, too loose, and lacks the necessary compactness. Antarctica's snow is too dry and less compact, making it impossible to build an igloo. This is just one of the many challenges faced by those daring enough to explore the coldest place on Earth. But don't worry, there are still plenty of other adventures to be had in Antarctica, even if igloo building isn't one of them. But the snow isn't the only issue in Antarctica. Antarctica, the coldest place on Earth, presents a wide array of challenges that extend far beyond its unique form of snow. The extreme cold, the relentless wind, and the scarcity of resources all play a part in making it a place where human habitation is, at best, a daunting endeavor. Let's start with the cold. Antarctica holds the record for the lowest temperature ever recorded on Earth, a bone-chilling negative 128 degrees Fahrenheit. This extreme cold is not just uncomfortable, it's deadly. Hypothermia and frostbite can set in rapidly, and without proper protection the human body simply cannot survive for long. Then there's the wind. The Antarctic is home to the notorious katabatic winds, gravity-driven winds that can reach speeds of over 200 miles per hour. These winds can whip up snow, reducing visibility to almost zero, and creating what's known as whiteout conditions. Imagine trying to build an igloo in a snowstorm with gale-force winds. It sounds like an impossible task, doesn't it? And let's not forget the lack of resources. In most parts of the world, if you want to build something, you can just go to a store and buy what you need. But in Antarctica, there are no stores, no trees for wood, no quarries for stone. Everything must be brought in, often at great expense and difficulty. Even the snow, which you'd think would be plentiful, is not the right kind for building structures like igloos. Finally, there's the isolation. Antarctica is the most remote continent on Earth, with the nearest neighbors thousands of miles away. This isolation can lead to feelings of loneliness and depression, making it even more challenging for people to live and work there. The harsh conditions in Antarctica make survival itself a challenge, let alone building an igloo. So, to sum it up, our journey has taken us deep into the heart of the coldest place on Earth, Antarctica. It's a place that's not just chilly, but a realm of ice and snow that's so cold that it pushes the boundaries of what we know about weather and survival. We've delved into the science behind igloos, these brilliant structures that have been a staple of survival in icy conditions for centuries. The ingenuity of these structures lies in their design, utilizing the insulating properties of snow to retain heat. The blocks of compact snow trap the warm air inside, creating a cozy and warm atmosphere in the midst of a freezing environment. But not just any snow will do. That brings us to the unique snow of Antarctica. It's not the fluffy, compactable type you'd use for a snowball fight, or indeed to build an igloo. Instead, it's hard, windswept, and crystalline. It's like trying to build a sandcastle with grains of rice. This kind of snow simply doesn't have the right properties to be molded into the blocks necessary for igloo construction. But this isn't the only challenge that Antarctica presents to us. The continent is a place of extremes, with temperatures that can plummet to -89 degrees Celsius, brutal winds that can reach 200 kilometers per hour, and an average annual snowfall of just 2 inches. It's a place where survival is a daily struggle, not just for humans, but for the unique wildlife that calls this icy wilderness home. And yet, in spite of these harsh conditions, Antarctica is a place of profound beauty and scientific significance. It's a living laboratory, a place where we can learn about our planet's history, its climate, and its future. It's a place that challenges us, tests our limits, and inspires us with its stark frozen majesty. The next time you think about the coldest place on Earth, remember that it's not just about the temperature, but also about the unique conditions that make it unlike any other place on our planet. Isn't science fascinating?